Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What they is, I'm gonna tell you what it is today on Profiles. What it is real talk in real life by a real one who really did it. And what it ain't is added preservatives, bullshit, fake stories. We ain't getting down like that. Now, as you can tell by the thumbnail right there, I wanted to give you 10 unknown facts about the movie Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor, things of that nature. Something a little bit different, okay? Now, this movie plays real big into the historia of Chicanoism, Chicanismo, right? Chicanos, we grew up with these movies. I know I grew up with these movies. Suave, Al, right? Orale, Al. Albert, do it on your own time. I grew up with this movie. I thought there was a lot of comedy. I didn't know the history that went into it. I didn't know a lot of the things that went into making this movie. We don't have much when it comes to the Latinos, to the Chicanos. We have Mi Familia, Mi Vida Loca, The Duke of Earl, Boulevard Nights. Of course, Puro Echo Park, Orale. We have American Me. And of course, Blood In, Blood Out, or Bound by Honor. Now, we're going to get to all the 10 facts that I wanted to put out there today. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. Because not everybody watches this movie. Everyone thinks it's funny. Everyone thinks Al's a chiruju like he is. Everyone thinks Miklo needs to stop sucking fingers. But at the same time, no one actually puts out some of the unknown stories about this particular movie. I was able to hunt some things down, do my proper fucking vetting, my proper investigation, and find out some of the top 10 things about Blood In, Blood Out, right? So without further ado, I'm going to mix in a little bit of video for you guys. Just a little something different here on Gunner's Profiles today. Let's get into number one. Did you guys know that the original movie was 5 hours long? Absolutely, 5 hours long of footage. And they actually were going to put it out that way. It was actually going to be put out 5 hours long, but they thought that the people's attention span wouldn't. And so I don't fucking, what is this? The Never Ending Story, puto, or fucking Blood In, Blood Out? So I was how much sangre can you have, right? In and out. I think it would have been way too long. I think it's a long movie anyways, so they were able to shorten it. But the fact remains that it was actually going to be produced and put out as a 5 hour movie. So that's que con un pinche Titanic. That's like all three Godfathers in one. Bitch, we ain't got that much attention span. So that's que we got cars to work on, tamales to buy, and lawns to mow. So that's que orale, in a Chicano fashion. You know how we get down, and we got to go cruising on Whittier Boulevard. Anyways, number two, did you know that Disney owns this movie? This was actually the very first R-rated movie Disney ever put out, and that's the reason for the name change. I know when the original movie came out, we all know, most of us in the history, we know this movie as Blood In, Blood Out, Sangre por Sangre, right? But actually, because Disney, of course, caters to mostly children, this would be the first R-rated movie that they ever put out. They felt that it was gonna not do good in the movie theaters, not do good with a certain audience that's associated with Disney. So they actually had the name changed eventually over time to Bound by Honor. That's why if you look on the thumbnail, you'll find some covers that say Blood In, Blood Out, which are the originals. And then you'll have the second derivative of the movie, the second fucking remix, which is Bound by Honor. Bet you didn't know that, right? Some did. Orale. But Disney ultimately made a shitload of money off this movie, and it was actually one of the greater movies that they ever produced and ever put out there. Just a good movie. 3, do you know that the original film was not based on Miklo as the lead character? It was actually based on Paco and his girlfriend. Miklo was actually the 4th character in line there. Okay, this movie was supposed to be based around Paco Aguilar and his girlfriend and a domestic issue that they go through. Of course, they were going to feed in and factor in Crucito's part as well as Miklo's part. But the main characters in this movie they were supposed to be based on is Paco Aguilar, which of course was Jimmy Smits, who played, was it Jimmy Smits that played? No, Benjamin Pratt, who played this part. It was supposed to be based on him and his girlfriend and the turmoil and things that they went through back in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, right there, Paco Aguilar, El Gallo Negro himself, says he gets a good record in the barrio, right? Well, guess what? Miklo beat him to the punch because this movie ended up being based on Miklo, and I think it was good. Number 4, do you know all but 7 of the actors in the prison scenes were real prisoners? So, Simon, where are they going to find a whole bunch of doubles in prison in San Quentin at that time? Not Charlie. A lot of these guys, the majority, 99.98% of these individuals that were in these scenes were actual prisoners. You know, they were not doubles. They weren't stunt doubles. That's no Jackie Chan's here. They weren't vatos flown in from wherever to portray a certain image. No, these were real life convicts at the time doing time in San Quentin. A lot of them lifers. Now, a lot of the fucking gente that were in the raza were actually from Northern California, which were actually norteños. There was a homeboy from Hayward, a homeboy from Oakland. There were several other individuals that are well known through the Norte cause, man, that were seen in this movie. So yes, the majority of the actors in this movie, no doubt about it, bang, bang, were real convicts. All but 7 of them at a time. They were only allowed 7 people in. This is actors. Of course, they had their film crews or whatever. They were only allotted a certain amount of people. You know, it's limited, especially in a prison like San Quentin, which was a high security prison at the time. At the filming of this movie, they actually filmed this movie in 1991. It was released in 1993 in April 28th to be exact. Or I think it was April 6th. I can't call it like an alcoholic. Fuck it. I watched it. It was good. Bang, bang. Okay, 5. El Pino, the tree seen in East Los. The tree seen is actually the most recognizable tree in the world now. It is now known as the Tree of Life. And a lot of people from Japan, China, and different nations flock to East LA just to see this real tree that was basically memorialized in the movie Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor. You see it in several depictions of El Pino, in several of the scenes. You know, Miklo's eating the fucking tamale. This is the best fucking tamale I ever ate. Orale. Hey, tell your mother, give me a call, right? Orale. Tell your mother she hit me on my pager, bitch, if it's major. Orale. Even the fucking vato selling the tamales was trying to hit Miklo's mom. They piruja. Anyways, no disrespect, Miklo. But, fuck it, he sucks fingers. Fuck you and your mom. Anyways, look. The El Pino basically is now considered a tree of life, a tree with great powers. This is what other people think, and it's a symbolization for East LA, and is now one of the most recognized, if not the most recognized tree in the world. So let's see what a movie can do for you. Fuck 15 minutes of fame. So let's get a lifetime of fame. Order to 6. This movie takes place from the years 1972 to 1984. Okay, that's a big historical fact because, see, there's a lot of people that get it mixed up. Oh, this was from the 60s, this was from the Charlie Homes. From 1972 to 1984, there's a certain time period there. And there was a big transition going on in prison, and that was a struggle for power at that time. You have to understand that a lot of the big organizations, real life, right, were formed in the 60s and even prior, the late 50s, 60s. So what you had was a fight for power in the late 70s. This is when a lot of killings was happening. And they wanted to take this time period because they wanted to show you how it was on the streets in the Chicano culture and how things were changing for Latino people, as well as in prison, how things were starting to move and groove and how things were changing. So that's getting a menudo stand in direct fashion. They were getting to it in prison. Big Al got hit. Straight up, plain and simple, period. Okay, number 7. This movie is based on the life experiences of Jimmy Santiago Baca, a poet who actually lived in the barrios in LA, who actually lived that street life, right? And was around during these times. So a lot of the things that he was involved in, becoming a gang member, the tattoos, the traditions, the hydraulics, the lowrider scene, the cholo scene, he actually lived firsthand. So it's que so did my tío, but my tío didn't get no action, no credit. My tío's like, hey, fuck, does he know about heroin? Orale, black. You know what I mean? If you don't know about that, then you don't know about shit. Orale. But I can't call it tío. But at the same time, I will say that this vato, it inspired his life. A lot of the gang things, a lot of the things he's seen, the cultural things he's seen that inspired his life as a poet, he lent towards this movie. So this movie is lightly based on a lot of his experiences, his real true life experiences in the barrio, you know, where the barrios cry out for real sangre. Sangre por sangre, homie. You know what I mean? Number 8, Carlos leaving La Onda. Remember that? America's Cup of Coffee. Orale. Carlos, come back. Orale, Carlos. Right? Carlos leaving La Onda was a lightweight symbolization of the NF-MA defection, right? Now, a lot of people get it mixed up. There really never was no defection. It was vatos from down south that never took into the MA. Basically, they never agreed with certain things. You know, it's neither here nor there. And without going too much into the historia that's been put out there several times, they just didn't agree with certain policies, politics, rules, and regulations, man, and decided to start their own organization and do their own thing. Okay, it was not about vatos from up north getting oppressed and vatos from down south fucking doing the Charlie Holmes. At one point in time, they were all Latinos, mainly from the sur. Well, I don't mean sureños, I mean Southern California. Vatos from down south, a lot of vatos from Maravilla, Clanton, several other fucking big gangs that were out there at the time that decided that if for no other reason, they should start their own organization. So this thing with Carlos, sabes que, hey, tell him put some clavo in it. Órale. The vato Carlos, that was actually showing the separation of North and South and two cliques, Mexicano cliques being formed in prison at the time. They did it without really doing it, without showing you the facts and showing you the actual history. But a lot of it was insinuations. Okay, it was an insinuation to show you the defection or basically the split of North and South. That's what it was. MNF, bang, there you go, Sasuke. I know, I thought that already, Gunsy. You don't know that shit. I already knew that shit. Sasuke, did you? Well, now you know again. Bang, bang. And in that fashion, menudo style. Okay, 9. Do you know that the director was actually given permission and had to go seek permission, okay, from the 3 big organizations, not necessarily the NF. The NF gave their permission to use the Norteños in the movie, absolutely. But this vato was smart enough, not like Edward J. Mons, the baboso that got everybody killed, allegedly, right? He was smart enough to actually get at members in these big 3 organizations, when I say Black Guerrilla Family and Aryan Brotherhood, and actually ask permission to use a spin-off name. You know, that's where you got Aryan Vanguard, the Black Guerrilla Army, orale pockets, right? Put down your spear. And then, of course, you got La Onda. These 3 organizations were loosely based on those 3 organizations. Of course, the NF with Carlos, like I just said, was likely based on that. You know, the dissension. There was never a name put on it, but we already knew. So those that paid attention. But they actually went and asked and got the green light and basically got the go-ahead as long as they didn't use the same exact names. So they kept it as a work of fiction. You know, they kept it loosely based, but enough where you would know, but okay, you don't, but okay, it is what it is, right? Menudo style. Now, number 10, do you know the Miklo character was loosely based and inspired by Joe Morgan from Ford Maravilla? Okay, Joe Morgan is a very historical figure within La M. You know, he's looked at as the godfather of the group, the organization, and is very well respected and deserves every bit of his respect. He earned that, he gained that, and being Anglo-Saxon, being not necessarily of a Mexicano fashion, right? But growing up with Mexicanos, but being more Slavic, or actually a Slavic individual growing up in a Mexicano neighborhood, they utilized this Miklo character to loosely base it off of him. You know, to show coming up, man, of a different race, of a different person at that time, a different people, and being accepted, the acceptance, and ultimately becoming one of, if not the leader of this group. So it was loosely based on Joe Morgan and showed a lot of intricacies, a lot of details. Now, of course, there's a lot of inaccuracies, and they weren't meant to be accurate. This movie was not trying to be accurate. It was not trying to be like American Me, dead on. They were doing their own thing. Like I said, it was a work of fiction, loosely based on characters. Now, you do that. You do that because if there's people that are really lived that and really done that, Sasuke, you could utilize them and what they've been through to build your character off that. And that's what Miklo did. Of course, in the movie, he was half Chicano, half white. Sasuke got the shit beat out of him by his dad. Hey, you tell him yourself, Dad. Orale. And the next you know, he was sucking on fingers, stabbing Big Al. And you guys just seen the video. Bang, bang. With that being said, these are just 10 facts of the movie Bound by Honor, Blood In, Blood Out, that I wanted to give you something a little bit different right here on Gunners Profiles. We're going to be doing these breakdowns, and I hope that you like them. I hope that you move with a purpose. Remember, at the end of the day, man, this is our history. We have to pay attention to our history, whether it be films, music, poetry, Sasuke, Mamones, I don't know. It all plays into our history, so it's why we're here and why we are what we are, right? Move smooth with a purpose. Go out there and get it for your familia. No one else is going to do it for you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about you and your people and no one else. But be kind to everyone, man. Teach one to reach one. You know what it is. Bang, bang, no matter what you do. With that being said, I hope that you like this. I hope that you hit that like and subscribe. If you don't like this and you're like, man, I done fuck you and Big Al, right? You can hit that thumbs down, heavy as the head that wears the crown. I'm continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, which is the betterment of all people. You already know what it is. The gun. Bang, bang. Something a little different. Don't hate.